Check 1, 2, check 1, 2, 3. So, hello, I'm Bob the Canadian. Most of you know who I am, but some of you maybe don't. This English question and answer lesson will start in about 26 seconds. Just going to do a few little tests here. I'm going to make sure that my audio is working, and then I will get this party started. Yeah, looks like we'll be ready to go in about 10 seconds, 7 seconds. Whoa, time is flying. Time flies when you're having fun. That's what I said to Brent just a little bit earlier. Well, hello and welcome to this live English question and answer lesson. If you are watching this live, it's awesome to see you here. It was fun to participate in the chat a little bit earlier and get to know some people. It's good to see some familiar names there. If you're watching this as a replay, or if you're watching this later, hello to you as well. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Bob the Canadian, and I teach English here on YouTube. I almost said I teach French. I don't teach French on YouTube. I teach English. Anyways, it's good to see all of you. Good to see Moto Explorer, Julia Olise, Semra, Norma, going back, Lolly is here, Mode Eggs is here, Aniko, Rod, the Brazilian English teacher, Sita is here, Todd and Dave are here, of course, to moderate the chat. I see Andre Padron is here, a longtime regular, and many, many more of you. Again, sorry if I don't say your name. It was fun to talk to, let me see here if I look back in the chat. I was chatting with Mireille Poulin, who is from Quebec, and I mentioned to her in the chat that I used to live in Quebec a long, long time ago, and I worked at a restaurant called Marie Antoinette's, which no longer exists anymore. I was a busboy. I think they called me a débarrasseur. Yeah, I cleaned tables after people were done eating. That was a fun job. Anyways, enough about me. Let's talk about the English language and about what you are doing here today. This is an English question and answer lesson. There is a form that you can click on, and you can use that form to ask me a question, and I will try to answer as many of those questions as possible. The link is given by Dave and Todd in the chat, so look for that. Please don't ask questions directly in the chat. I know some people do, but it's just too much for me to read, and I like to keep this somewhat organized. So what should you do with the chat? Someone asked that a few weeks ago. What's the point of having chat if we can't ask questions? Well, the point of chat is to chat. The point of having chat is to have a conversation in English with all of the other people who are here as I give this English question and answer lesson. Anyways, enough of me talking. Let's get to the first question here. Let me see if I can find it, and I will try my best to answer it. So this is from Chico, and Chico says, hi, what is the difference between rate and range? State and condition, thanks. If I'm buying a used car, I might worry about what state it's in or what condition it's in. That simply means, how new is it or how old is it? Is it worn out? Has someone used the car a lot? So I would be wondering what state the car is in. If I phone someone, I could say, I see you have a car for sale. What condition is it in? Is it in good condition? Or I could say, what state is it in? And if the person said, it's good to go, or it's ready to drive, ready to go, that would mean it's in good condition or in a good state. Rate and range. So the rate is how fast something happens or how much someone charges for something. It kind of has two meanings. So if I was mowing my lawn, I could say that I mow my lawn at a rate of 1 hectare per hour. That would be a lot of lawn. I don't think I mow that fast, but it's the speed that I do it. And range is related to distance. So, the range, when they're during the war, when they're firing with a battleship, if they're firing big guns, the range of the gun is a certain number of meters. So that's what we use range for, to talk about distance. Thanks for the question, Chico. Let me get to the next one. Mike says, hi, Bob. Could you use these in example sentences? Cram down, overtly, and feeble. Thanks. So cram down, I'm not familiar with that word. I can tell you what it means to cram. To cram means to study for an exam in a short period of time. Or if you're eating food, you can cram food in your mouth. You might say that the person was cramming food down their throat. It's a very rude and crude way to talk about someone eating. But cram down as one word, I'm not familiar with, but definitely cram has those two meanings. When something is done overtly, it means it's very easy to see. So if I went in a store, this is a bad example, but if I went in a store and I grabbed things and I just walked out without paying, and if I just grabbed things so everyone could see me, I would be doing that overtly, okay? I would be stealing from the store in an overt way, basically in a way where everyone can see me. And feeble is what I will be someday. When you are old, when you are weak, we also say that you are feeble. We almost always use the word feeble to talk about an old person who is weak. If an old person is not strong, if they don't have very big muscles and they have trouble lifting things, we would say that they are feeble. You can also be feeble of mind. So it can also refer to someone who is having trouble thinking clearly, usually an old person. But when I think of a feeble old man, I think of someone hunched over. It's basically how I will look when I'm 90 years old. I will be a feeble old man, both in mind and body, I think. We'll see. Athenasios has the next question. Hi, Athenasios. Good to see you. Hello, Ontario. Hello, teacher. Which one is more common? I've got a 4-wheel drive vehicle or a 4x4 vehicle. Thank you. Both. Generally, if I say someone has a 4x4 vehicle, it's almost usually a truck. But if you have a 4-wheel drive vehicle, it could be a truck or car. So we would use both. Yeah, 4x4. It's rare for someone to say that their car is a 4x4. It's generally a truck. Like, oh, he's got a big 4x4 truck. He'll be fine. He can drive down that muddy road. But usually if a car is 4-wheel drive, we would say that it's 4-wheel drive. Front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, and 4-wheel drive are the types of drive systems on a car. Did you hear me try to say rear-wheel drive? That's hard to say. That's when the back wheels on the car are the wheels that are powered. Sorry, I'm going on and on about things. Let me see here. Andre Padron says, hello, Mr. Bob. Hi, Andre. How can I know the correct pronunciation of a word when I see the word for the first time, considering long and short vowels? Thank you. So this is difficult because we do things that aren't very nice in English. So I can lead my dog, or I can have gasoline can have lead in it. It doesn't anymore, but lead and lead are pronounced with two different vowel sounds. So it's very tricky. I think there are some things you can do. Usually if a word has a vowel and then a consonant and ends in a vowel, usually it's a longer sound. But you know, the best thing to do, what I do in French is I go to Google Translate and I type the French word in and I click the little speaker and I let Google pronounce it for me with its funny robot voice, and then I try to copy it. So, il y a des mots en français où c'est comme un ordinateur qui parle. There are some French words that when I say them, it probably sounds like a computer that's speaking. Okay, let me see here. Next, wait, did I answer Andre's question? Yes, I did. So it's just tricky, Andre. It's tricky to know. Let's see here. Eduardo. Hi, Eduardo. Hi, Bob. Good morning. And then a big wave. Thanks for the little emoji. Fix yourself a plate, bog down, and head it off. Could you use those words in some phrases, please? Thanks a lot. So when I'm at someone else's place to eat, and if they put all the food out, like on the kitchen counter, then usually you go up with your plate and you fix yourself a plate of food. Okay. So it means that you're getting the food yourself. The other thing would be they might serve you a plate of food. But often when we go to Jen's parents for Thanksgiving or Christmas, they'll have all the food in a common place, and you'll go with your empty plate and you'll fix yourself a plate of food. So you'll get some potatoes and some meat and some other things. Bog down, we use to talk about people and also vehicles. So when I have a lot of work to do, I can feel bogged down. Sorry, my nose is really itchy. I know I keep touching my nose, but I don't know why it's so itchy this morning. If you have a lot of work to do, you might feel bogged down. When a car sinks into the mud, we say that the car is getting bogged down. Okay, so it's kind of a little phrasal verb that talks about slowing you down or a vehicle down. And then headed off, it's just a way we talk about someone going somewhere. You could say that my son headed off to university last fall and he's coming home in a few weeks. And then next fall, he will head off again. So it just means that he will go there. Let's see here. Frank, hi again, Bob. What is the meaning of speaking of which? And also, is the noun rack used? So speaking of which is something you say, let's say someone's talking about their lawnmower. I'm looking at my lawnmower out the window. That's why lawnmower is always the example. If I said to my friend, yeah, I got my lawnmower fixed, it's all ready for this season, my friend could say, oh, speaking of which, did you get them to check the belts when you had it there? So it simply means that you're talking about the same thing still, or you're talking about the same topic. And then the rack, we have a drying rack, but yeah, I'm not sure about the noun rack. You can rack your brain, but I think that's with a W. I think it's WR. But when we are done washing our clothes, we hang them on a drying rack. And we have a towel rack in our bathroom as well. Let's see here. Marion says, my doubt is, it looks like the Amazon delivery guy is here. There are a lot of things to see out of the window. If you kind of heard Oscar barking, maybe you did or didn't, it's because the Amazon delivery man is here. Marion says, my doubt is if the same thing is a more informal way to say the same, and both are the same. Thanks in advance. Yeah, like if my friend says, I like reading books, I could say, I like doing the same thing, or I like doing the same. They're both actually kind of informal, the way I just used them. A more formal thing to say would be, I like reading books as well. But if I say, I like doing the same thing, or, I like doing the same. If someone said, I like ordering stuff from Amazon, I could say, I like doing the same thing. So they're both slightly informal, but they're both completely correct for you to use. Absolutely no problem. Let's see here. I should give a shout out to a few people in the chat. I see that Moto Explorer is here still talking to Rod, the Brazilian English teacher. Nice to see. It's nice to see Julia Olise talking with Dave, and Norma to be talking with Julia Olise as well. Cool to see some conversations happening over there. If you are new here, by the way, if you're one of the 368 people watching, you should subscribe. I think you might be happy with the types of English lessons I make each week. And if you click that button, it's totally free and you'll get notified when a new video comes out. Let's see here. Next question is from Sagar. Hi, Teacher Bob. Hope you are doing well. My questions are, what is the difference? I'm going to change the word a bit there, Sagar. The difference between a diplomat and an ambassador, and how to pronounce the word boycott. So I think an ambassador is a specific type of person who lives in another country and represents the country they are from, okay? So Canada has ambassadors in many countries in the world. A diplomat there's many types of diplomats. Diplomats are also people that on behalf of the government go and represent a country in another country. But I think it's just a more general term for the two. And boycott, that's how you pronounce it. Sometimes people boycott certain things. They'll say boycott in Canada, actually, people were trying to boycott buying butter for some reason because they thought the butter, they were feeding the cows something strange. I don't know. But anyways, a boycott is when you decide not to buy something and you encourage other people not to buy it as well. Let's see here. Next question from Arena. Hi, Teacher Bob. How do we pronounce insides and phase, horse, filling, feeling, hulled, halved, cling, clean, jeans, and jeans? Thank you. So let's go through those again. First of all, insides. Okay. So, yeah, the insides. Yeah. So basically when you talk about what's in your body, we call it your insides. Like, it just hurt. I have a stomach ache. My insides don't feel good. And then phase and phase are pronounced exactly the same way. Horse and horse are the same. Filling and feeling are pronounced slightly differently, okay? Oh, that meal was very filling. Now I'm feeling sick. Did you hear the difference there? So the meal filled up my stomach. The meal was very filling. And because I'm so full, I'm feeling sick. Hulled and halved, cling and clean, jeans and jeans. So there you go, some pronunciation help. Hopefully, if you need to, you can rewind the video and listen to that again and practice on your own. So Simmer says, this is an awesome spring and my nose is itchy constantly. Maybe that's what's happening to me. Maybe there is a bit of pollen in the air or something I'm allergic to. We'll see as spring progresses. It's just a very nice day. I should be doing this live lesson outside, maybe in a few weeks. I think I need to wait about a month. There's no shade yet. Ruslan, hi dear teacher Bob. Is it popular to build a sauna in Canadian houses? Do you have one? Best wishes. No, it is not very common. People who move to Canada from Scandinavian countries will sometimes have a sauna, or I think they say sauna, but the improper but most common pronunciation is sauna. That's how we all say it. If you go to a hotel, Ruslan, many hotels in Canada will have a sauna that people can use, but generally, no, most Canadians don't have a sauna in their house unless they're originally from Norway or Finland or Sweden. Some people who are from those countries will have a sauna or sauna. Let's see. Mode, I like this question. Mode says, what does your handwriting look like? Is it neat and tidy, or is it all messy scribbles? Because some teachers, second to doctors, of course, tend to have unreadable handwriting. My handwriting is okay. It's legible. That means it's easy. It's readable. You can read it. But I don't do it very much anymore because in my classroom, I have a screen. And so I project onto the screen. When I do write, sometimes I try to do it slowly and carefully, but it actually makes my hand sore to write for a long time because I don't do it very often. But I think I have fairly nice handwriting, Mode. I think I'll have to ask my students at some point. Let's see here. Next question from Tomas. What do hang around, clean out, mixed up, doze off, and call on mean? It's a bit long. Sorry, no problem, Tomas. When you hang around, it just means you are somewhere, sometimes not doing anything. The best way to remember it is when I go to a small store, sometimes there will be teenagers hanging around in front of the store. They might be smoking a cigarette, they might just be talking, but they're just hanging around. So to hang around means to just stand or sit somewhere with no apparent purpose. When you clean something out, it usually is something that needs to be cleaned that you can put things in. So you can clean out a drawer, you can clean out your car. Like I could say, oh, it's Saturday, I should go clean out my van. So it's something that you clean, but it's something that, you wouldn't use it to describe the outside of your van. If you're cleaning the inside of something, you would say that you're going to clean it up. When you're mixed up, you're just confused. So I was mixed up a few weeks ago about what day it was. I thought it was Tuesday, but it was Wednesday. So sometimes when you're mixed up, you're confused. Doze off, I'll just act out. So that was me dozing off. When you doze off, it means you fall asleep, usually when you're sitting and usually when you're not supposed to. But sometimes I will watch TV on a Saturday afternoon and I will doze off in my chair. Did I get it? Oh, and to call on. To call on someone, it kind of is an old way to say you're dating someone. Is it okay if I call on you? And if someone said that to someone else, it means they're interested in going on a date with them or talking to them more romantically. In class, though, I can call on a student as well, like a totally different meaning. Like if I said, who knows the capital of Russia? And I could call on a student and ask them to answer, which means I'm simply saying their name and asking them to answer the question. Let's see here. Next question is from Katerina. Hello, dear teacher Bob. Is it sunny today? Yes, it's very nice. I think it's a real spring. I think so too. Our grass is turning green. We will have to start mowing it soon. My question is, what's the difference between trace and follow? Thank you for your help. So if you're watching a show that has policemen in it or police officers, sometimes they will follow someone who they think will commit a crime. So they will physically, follow them around the city. When you trace someone, though, it means usually that you go on the computer and you try to figure out where they've all been. Okay, so you'll look at where they used their credit card. You'll look at where they've done some shopping. You'll see it. So tracing is something you do without following someone. So slightly different. Let's see here. Natalia says, Bob, is it true that you normally call coworkers with high status by the surname with the addition of the words Mr. or Mrs.? In my workplace, no. So there are a variety of workplaces in Canada and in the United States. Some workplaces are very casual. I have a very casual workplace. We call each other by our first names. We don't use any honorifics. We don't say Mr. or Mrs. to anybody. There are some workplaces, though, that are very formal. The trend in North America is that most workplaces have become very casual in terms of how people have conversations and how they refer to each other. I'm still required to wear a shirt with a collar. So this is my collar. At work as a teacher, I have to wear a shirt with a collar, but I'm not required to wear a shirt. I'm not required to wear a tie. So I'm actually kind of happy about that. I don't really enjoy wearing ties. But some workplaces are very formal and you need to wear a suit and tie. Let's see here. Aniko says, hello, Teacher Bob. I would like to know how to address you in a conversation. Teacher Bob is okay, or what should we say to you? Thank you. Teacher Bob is totally fine. You can just call me Bob because I've told you that you are allowed to do it. If you were in my classroom, I would want you to use Mr. with my last name. But I think because most people who are learning English from me on YouTube are adults, you can simply call me Teacher Bob. You can call me Bob. You can call me Mr. Bob. I don't mind that at all. You can call me the Honorable Mr. Bob. No, you don't have to call me that. Let me see here. Let's get to the next question. Next question is from Sun. What's the difference between in bed and on bed? So for example, John is sleeping. So we say John is in bed or John is on the bed. Thank you, love, as always, Teacher Bob. I would say this. If John is in bed, it means that he probably has blankets on top of him. And it probably means his head is on the pillow and he is sleeping. Okay. So if my kids were like, where's mom? I could say, oh, she's in bed having a nap. Okay. When I come home from work, though, sometimes I'm so exhausted, I just flop on the bed. So that means I'm laying on top of the blankets. So a slight difference. The most common thing if someone is taking a nap or sleeping is to say they are in bed. And if someone just lays on the bed because they're tired, or sometimes I just lay on the bed and read for a little bit, it means I'm not under the blankets. That's the difference that I would say between the two. I think that's a good explanation. Let's see here. Dimitri has the next question. Hello, incredible Mr. Bob. I hope at the end of this, you're not calling me the honorable, incredible, amazing Mr. Bob. Let's not put too many adjectives. Let's just stick with Mr. Bob's good, or Teacher Bob is good, or just Bob is fine. Can we use a phrase, mix it up, for both combining some things and also for separating some things? Thanks and have a good day. Yeah, so this is a funny phrase because if I put a whole bunch of things in a cup and then I can stir it to mix it up because I want it to be mixed. But we can also use it, let me see, can we use it for separating things? No, but we can use it to say that there's going to be variety. I could say to my class, I'm going to mix it up today. Instead of doing reading for the entire class, we're going to do some games and we're going to do some fun activities. I'm going to mix it up a bit. So it means to change things. So when you mix something up, it can mean to combine them. Like when you bake a cake, you need to mix up the ingredients. It's important to mix it up before you put it in a pan. But you can also say, this weekend, we're going to mix it up a little bit. Instead of staying home, we're going to go to a restaurant. We're going to go see a movie. We're going to go for a hike. We're going to do some things that are different. Let's see here. Eugene from Etobicoke. Good morning, Bob. Do you have a plan for 4 weeks stay-at-home order? Do you still go to your school? So Eugene is from Etobicoke, which is close to the city of Toronto or part of Toronto. And there is a 4-week stay-at-home order in Ontario right now. Some schools are closed. My school was actually closed this past week, but next week is spring break. And Eugene, we don't know yet what is going to happen the week after. We think we will be going back to school, I think, let me check my calendar here, on April 19th, but we have to wait and see. There were 1 or 2 people in my school that had COVID, and so they have to finish doing the contact tracing. Remember, we used the word trace earlier. When you trace, it means you connect things. You use the computer and you research to connect things. They have to do some more tracing. So what do I think will happen? I think I will probably be teaching from home for at least another week after spring break, but maybe not. We'll see. Things can change quickly. Hey, I do want to say hi to the 480 people watching. Hi to Dawn English Soul and Nasira and Lolly Lolly and Athenasios in the chat. Habui is there, as well as, let me see here, Natalia Illusion is here. Brent from American English with This Guy. Good to see all of the regulars here, members and non-members alike. And again, if you are new here, there is a subscribe button there you can click and you'll find out when I make a new video. I do tend to make videos every week and people seem to like them, so I'm going to keep making them. Let's get to the next question here. From Margot. Hi, Bob. Please explain how to use gain a measure and what's the difference between partly and partially, acclaim and proclaim, leave and leave on. Best wishes. Okay, so when you gain a measure of understanding, when you use the phrase to gain a measure, it means you gain a part of something, okay? When I read a book, sometimes I gain a measure of understanding about what the book is telling me. It means I don't understand all of it, but I understand some of it. Partly and partially, I think, are almost used interchangeably. You should look up the exact meanings to see if there is a difference. But this glass is partly empty. This glass is partially empty. I would probably use partly, but I think I could use both, and English speakers wouldn't even think I had made a mistake. So partially, like this live stream is partly over. It's partially over. Yeah, I think you can use both. Acclaim and proclaim. When you acclaim someone, it means that you tell everyone else in public that they are awesome, okay? So let's say you're at a meeting and someone says, Margot did a great job. I think that we should all give Margot a round of applause. That person would be acclaiming you. They would be basically saying that you're awesome. When you proclaim something, it just means you say something. You know, I could proclaim that spring is here. I could proclaim that I could proclaim that summer is the best season of the year. So it just means you're stating something publicly. To leave means to go somewhere. So I could leave my house. You know, when I'm at work, I leave work and I go home. But this morning I put on this shirt and I thought I would leave this shirt on. I would leave on this shirt for the live stream. So it means to not change something. Hopefully that all made sense. We'll see. Next question from Betty from Taiwan. Hello, Bob. What's the difference between effectively, efficiently, productive, and productivity? Thank you in advance. Have a good day. When you are effective, okay, so if I say he is an effective person, it means he's really good at what he does, okay? When he says he's going to do something, he does it. An effective person does a job and does it well. They do the job effectively. So we've moved from an adjective to an adverb. So we're not describing the person anymore. We're describing the action. So you could say that person is an effective worker. That person does their job effectively. Okay, so they mean the same thing, but technically they're modifying a different part of the sentence. When you do something efficiently, you do it with just as much energy as you need. So electric cars use the power in the battery efficiently. Okay, so they're good at it. When you're productive, it means that for every hour you work, you do a good amount of work. I'm a very productive worker, I think, most days. I'm usually not lazy. So lazy would be the opposite. and productivity or productivity. So there's two ways to pronounce that. I don't know which one is right. But a factory might want to increase their productivity or their productivity. That means they want to be able to produce more things per day with the same amount of people. So they want to increase it. Hopefully I explained all those well. We'll see. I'll check later, but I think I got most of those correct. Next question from Mustafa. If I'm asked anything else you need, correct answer would be that is all, or that would be all, or that will be all. So you could say any of those, but they're all very, very formal. So if I had someone who worked for me and they said, hey boss, anything else you need? I could say, no, that's all. Or I could say, no, that would be all, or that will be all. I would probably use one or three. But the best answer, Mustafa, would be this. Is there anything else you need? You could say, no, I'm all set. Okay. That's both formal and informal. That answer will work anywhere. I hope it's common. Maybe Brent can answer this from American English with this guy. If I said to you, Brent, hey, is there anything else you need? Would you respond by saying, no, I'm all set? Is that the most common response you think in American English? Because where I am, that would be the most common response. If someone was getting ready to do a job, and if they said, okay, I have a hammer and I have nails, is there anything else? Or I've given someone a hammer and nails, is there anything else you need? They can say, no, I'm all set. I'll get started. Let me see here. I need to make a small switch. Give me one moment here as we go for 10 minutes to members only chat. So if you're wondering what is happening now, there are people who have clicked the join button below and joined my channel as members. One of the things that they get for being a member is during my live lessons for 10 minutes, the chat is members only. So right now you'll see the chat has switched to members only. Members can ask me questions directly in the chat right now. The other thing members get is an extra video on Wednesday and a couple other little things. Transcripts, I'm a little behind on that, but transcripts for my Tuesday videos and a little crown by their name, and their name is in green. So it's kind of fun. Let's see here. Brent says, yeah, all set is the most common. It was strange for my wife when we first moved north because she's from the southern US. Yeah, I think all set is very common. Yeah, I'm all set. Like, hey, you going camping? You got everything that you need? Yeah, I'm all set. Or let's see. When we went to the hospital, when we were at that point where Jen was still having babies, we would be like, okay, we're ready to leave. Yeah, are you all set? Yeah, I got everything I need. So it's usually used when you're prepared to do something. Semra, really nice to be here as a member. Thanks, Semra. Thanks for being a member. Mode Egg says to Lolly Lolly, you are hitting the grammar books. Yeah, Lolly mentioned that she likes reading grammar books yesterday. By the way, for those of you that are interested, yesterday I did a lesson on books. If you are interested in that lesson, it's still available, and a shorter version will come out in a couple days. That was fun yesterday. Tier Agnes says, members only. And Moto Explorer says, hi, Teacher Bob. It's good to see you. I am back after a little break. Do you know some place to test my English knowledge in Ontario? I don't. I wish. Do you know how there's TOEFL and IELTS and the Cambridge English Assessment Test? I wish there was like a simpler way to test your English that didn't cost as much money, just for people who are interested in finding out. I think Duolingo used to have an English test. I'm not sure what the cost was, but I don't, Moto Explorer, know if there's a place, but I will do some research for you. Leave a comment under this video and I will do some research. Modegs, hi, Mr. Bob. How different are these words from each other? Overtly, blatantly, patently. So first of all, we wouldn't use patently very often. You might read it in a book, but overtly and blatantly are very similar. We would probably use blatantly. That's probably the most common way to talk about someone doing something like that. Guiping has given me a super sticker that says, hey you. Hey you. Thanks, Guiping. That's awesome of you. Eugene says, hi, Bob. I went to Niagara-on-the-Lake last week. There are so many people doing nature tourism. The outdoor areas, Eugene, in Ontario, Canada, are crazy busy right now because people aren't allowed to go to indoor places. Gaston says, hi, Teacher Bob. What does it mean when people use though at the end of a sentence? they're kind of just emphasizing or making a different point. Like if someone says, let's see, I'm trying to think of a good way to end a sentence with though. If someone says, I don't like visiting my parents, someone could respond by saying, yeah, but it's nice for them though. So you're kind of presenting another part to the argument in the example that I just gave. Let's see here. Brent says, I feel like a king with this crown. Forget what month Brent's on. He's probably got a 6-month crown, which is the nicest crown, by the way. You get a different one every month for 6 months. Robert says, hi, Bob. Why does your jar have a handle? So this is called a mason jar. It's usually used for canning, but when they put a handle on it, they call it a drinking jar. So it's just so I can hold it. It's kind of like they took a normal jar and they turned it into a little bit like a mug. Maria, hello, Bob. How are you? Have you watched the TV series Seinfeld? Yes, every single episode. Do you like it? Is it popular in Canada as it is in the US? The best TV show ever? Yes. I haven't watched it for a long time, but I have watched every episode. I watched an episode recently and was surprised at how old it was. The clothes, the cell phones, and those kinds of things. Let's see here. Don English Soul has become a member. Thank you so much, Don, for becoming a member of the channel. Lolly talking to Mode Eggs. Vladimir saying, hello, Mr. Bob. Hello, everyone. Hello, Vladimir. Julia says, hi, dear teacher. Could you please explain the difference between these three? Evident, obvious, and explicit. So all of them mean the same thing. Basically, easy to see and understand. When you see something that's obvious, you can say it's evident and obvious, but explicit is more like, has two meanings. It can mean that it's clear. Like I can give explicit instructions on how to do something to my students, and it means very clear. If, however, a movie is explicit, it means it's going to contain nudity and probably some other things more than nudity, okay? So I would look up the word explicit to make sure you are aware of the double meaning. People are welcoming to Dawn. Thank you very much. Marwanto says, hi, good night, everyone. Let's see here. Dawn says, thanks for the opportunity. No problem, Dawn English. Brent says to Maria C, I'm a huge fan of Seinfeld. You double dip the chip. It's like sticking your whole mouth in the bowl. Yes, I think when I'm retired, I talk about that too much, but when I'm retired, I will rewatch the entire Seinfeld series, every single episode. Sita Bittencourt says, no question today, Mr. Bob. Just thanking you for your great job helping us. No problem, Sita. Gertruda says, hello, dear teacher, or hello, Teacher Bob. Is it the same soft cover to pocketbook or something like that? Thank you in advance. So when you have, let's see here. So you have hardcover books and you have soft cover and paperback. That's from the lesson yesterday. There is a slight difference between, so any book with a cover that's soft is a soft cover, but a paperback is usually a smaller book, okay? A paperback is a book with a soft cover. It's a soft cover book as well, but it's like a smaller book that you can read on the train or the subway. So when you have, let me go back here, the hardcover version of the book is always bigger, and then the soft cover version can be the same size, but there might be a paperback available as well. Oops, that was the timer. We don't need the timer. Let's see here. Modag says to Brent, we should start addressing you as H.E. Brent. Rod says, Mr. Bob, have a great weekend and stay safe. All the best as always. Thanks, Rod. Same to you. I hope you can stay safe down there in Brazil. Things in Brazil and in other parts of the world are not great. In Canada, we're in a third wave. We just had the second highest number of COVID cases in our province yesterday since January. So I hope things turn around soon. Modag, I could get used to that. Modags, do you find it hard to pronounce the following words quickly together? Arctic, Antarctic, or architect? Not really, but I think it might be because I'm a teacher. So I do tend to say the word Arctic every once in a while. Not that often. Antarctic, not too hard. And architect, no, not too hard. Maria C. to Brent. Have you watched Larry David's TV series Curb Your Enthusiasm? Yeah, I'm curious if Brent, if you've watched that. I have not. I heard it was good though. Don English says, I have a problem with the phrasal verb turns out. Can you explain it, please? So we start sentences with that a lot. We'll say, oh, I was going to go to the store, but turns out you can't go in the store right now. So when I got there, I realized you can't go in the store right now. Okay. Or I went to put gas in my car and it turns out the car takes diesel fuel. So it's when you find out something is different than you were expecting. Let's see. NTM says, hi, Teacher Bob. I would like to ask about how to use the word motivate, the difference between stay motivated and keep up your motivation. I'm happy to be here. When you motivate someone, you encourage them to do things. You want them to stay motivated. So if I say nice things to you, like you can do it, you're awesome, you're a great student, those are words that would motivate you. And I would hope that they would keep you motivated. I hope it would keep up your motivation to do that. So it's basically energy and a desire to do something. Julia says, thank you, dear teacher. I'm expanding my vocabulary. No problem. Mode Egg says, humble of you. Let's see here. Let me scroll down. Thank you, teacher. Moto says, I just got a voice recorder. I think it is a good tool to perfect pronunciation. Do you know any way to use it? Well, one way to use it is if you record your, let's say you watch a YouTube video, and if you have the transcript, if you have the words, you record yourself saying the words, then you listen to the video and you try to compare how each sounds to correct your own pronunciation. Other than that, I would just record yourself speaking English as often as you feel like it. And then at the end of the day, kind of listen to it and try to make some corrections in writing. Let's see here. Vocabulary, thank you. Just got a voice recorder. What do you have your Easter? When do you have your Easter holiday in Canada? It was last weekend. We had both the Friday and the Monday off. That was really, really nice. Let's see here. I also noticed it is locked down when I tried to get into the store and the doors were locked. What a shame. Yeah, so I actually had the same experience yesterday. Sorry, not yesterday. When was that? I think that was I'm having trouble remembering things, but I went somewhere and turns out you couldn't actually go in. It was only curbside pickup. Let's see. I'm going to go back and flip. Let me flip off. By the way, I'm turning off members only chat. I'm making myself laugh because I said I'm going to go flip off learning only chat, but in English, the phrasal verb to flip someone off actually means to give them the middle finger. When you flip someone off, it's also called flipping someone the bird. So I switched up and said I turned off members only chat instead of saying flipping it off, because that can have two meanings. One, not a good one. Anyways, thank you to everyone who is a member over there in the chat or down there in the chat, the people whose names are in green with the variety of crowns beside their names. Thank you for being members. Thank you for supporting me. You guys are awesome. If you are new here, you can consider joining. You don't have to, but if you want to click subscribe, that's totally free. And it helps me as well, because then more people watch my videos. Let me get back to the question though. Next question is from Ismet. Hey, Teacher Bob, I hope you are doing well. My question is, what does it mean the sky's the limit? Thanks in advance. If I said to my son, why don't you go to a restaurant and buy yourself some food? I'll pay the bill. And if I said sky's the limit, it means he could spend as much money as he wanted. If I said don't spend more than $20, then I wouldn't say the sky's the limit. But if you tell someone the sky's the limit, it means that there's no point at which they need to stop, okay? We can use this to describe being successful in life as well. Sometimes people, when they become very successful, you say, you know, for them, the sky's the limit, which means there's no limit. They just continue to be successful. I hope that made sense. Let's see here. Laura from Spain. Hello, Bob. What's the difference between other and another? Thank you very much. So my one brother likes race cars and my other brother likes race cars as well. So my one brother, my younger brother, likes race cars, and my other brother likes them as well. Okay, so that's how you use other when you're talking about things that are kind of similar, right? My one van is red, my other van is blue. So I'm comparing things. When you use another, it would work more like this. If my van breaks, I might have to buy another van. So that's in addition to, okay? So you're adding to something. So that would be the difference. Let me see here. I see Dave reminding people that, so Nightbot is a piece of software that also moderates. And if you use too many emojis, I think Nightbot just times you out for a little bit. So I might fix that. I don't mind emojis. Let's see here. Maria C. Hi, Bob. How are you? I'm good, Maria. What is the average highest temperature during summer in Canada? Thanks and have a great weekend. So the high 20s are fairly normal. So 28 or 29 degrees, even 30 degrees Celsius is fairly normal. Anything over 32 or 33 is considered very hot. And anything around 25 or below is considered fairly cool in the summer in Celsius. But I think the average is probably about 28 or 29, somewhere in there, which for us feels really hot, but for most people in the world probably isn't. Let's see. Catton says, hi, Bob. Can you explain the sentence, sticks and stones may break my bones? Is it a proverb? I hear it in a few songs, for instance, Titanium by David Guetta and Sia. So the whole phrase is sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. So basically what that means is if someone is making fun of you, if someone is mean to you, if someone is calling you names, like saying you're dumb or saying you're not a very smart person, then kids sometimes will say, at least when I was a kid, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. So it is a proverb basically saying, you know, you can call me names, but it doesn't hurt me. Even though it does a little bit, right? When someone calls you names, it can hurt a little bit on the inside. Next question is from Ario. Hola, Mr. Bob. How are you? My question is, should we trust an English native speaker always? I think yeah or yes. I learned an idiom, Bob's your uncle. Yeah. I don't know. People are people. So you have to trust the people who you get to know. I think I wouldn't, me personally, I don't trust anyone initially. I like to get to know someone a little bit before I trust them. So I don't think being a native speaker makes someone the best English teacher, just so you know that. I think some of the best English teachers in the world are non-native speakers. I think native speakers who teach English, that doesn't automatically make them a good teacher. But if you have a good teacher, someone who knows how to teach, but is a non-native English speaker, they could very well be way better at teaching English. I actually, when I look around, there are a lot of people teaching English in the world. And sometimes I wonder, so there's a difference between being a teacher and being a good teacher. And if you're a good teacher, you can teach almost anything, but you can become a teacher without being a good teacher. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, I don't like to comment too negatively on other people, but I think that you're better off finding someone who is a non-native English speaker who teaches English, who loves it, instead of a native English speaker who just does it for the money and doesn't really have their heart in it. Hopefully that makes sense. I think I got a little off topic there. I almost started ranting. Next question from Daniel. Dear teacher, do you like the movie Dumb and Dumber starring Jim Carrey? Or Jay Carrey, Jim Carrey? I do a lot because of the funny scenes. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, I remember watching it a long time ago and I thought it was hilarious. I remember watching a little bit of it again recently because it was on TV and I didn't find it as funny. I think I've gotten older and I'm not sure the humor has aged well. When something doesn't age well, it means it was funny or it was good a long time ago and possibly isn't as funny now. So I'm not sure that movie aged well. Curious, maybe, I'm not sure if Brent's still here from American English with this guy, Brent, do you think the movie Dumb and Dumber aged well? I know they did a sequel, and I don't think that did very well, but yeah, I'm not sure the humor in that movie. I'm not sure it aged well. Okay, Shanae says, hello, Teacher Bob. What is the difference between being confident and being proud? Thank you for your lesson today. When you are confident, you are sure of yourself. When I do something that I know how to do well, I'm confident, okay? When I speak on camera, I am confident. I'm not shy. I'm not timid. I'm not afraid. I'm confident. I've done this a lot. I like doing it. I'm confident. When you're proud, though, it means that you are feeling pride. You are feeling like a really good feeling about something you're doing or something someone else is doing. When my children get really good grades in school, when they get really good marks, I'm very proud, okay? When I do something and I think I did a good job, I'm proud of myself. So different than confident for sure. Let me see here. Next question. It's from Fox. What do laundry list and metro area mean? Metro area were used in describing a person and his place of work. So you can have a whole laundry list of things to do. So laundry is when you wash your clothes. But if you have a laundry list of things to do, it's just a way of describing that you have a list of things to do. Metro area or a metropolitan area is a way to describe the area around a city. Brett says, I like Dumb and Dumber, but I'm pretty immature. So, yes, so the movie has aged well for some folks, maybe not for others, but we'll see in the future. If it becomes a classic in 20 or 30 years, that would be interesting. We'll have to see. Yes, the Metro Toronto area, or the Metro, it's short for metropolitan, but it's definitely the area in and around a city is sometimes called to the metro area, or the I can't say it. Metropolitan area. There we go. I'm trying to add too many syllables to my words. From Jake. Thanks, Jake, for the kind words. I'm going to blush. Hi, Bob. You are so handsome today. Thanks, Jake. I have a question. What is your favorite sport? I like baseball, or I'm baseball. What is your favorite food? There are any countries you want to visit? So my favorite sport, that's hard to say. We've been watching some NBA basketball recently. There's a team in Toronto called the Toronto Raptors, and we have been watching more basketball this year than normal. I think because we are kind of stuck at home. So we started watching Raptors basketball, and I might go see a game in 6 months or a year when the pandemic's over. So basketball right now. Oddly enough, I never thought I would be a basketball fan, but it's a lot of fun to watch. And then what's your favorite food? Pizza. And any country you want to visit. Number one on my list is France. Still France. So someday I will go there and I will see that country and I will speak French. Hello, Bob. How are you? Have you ever heard the phrase Bob's your uncle? If you have, can you tell us what does it mean? It's simply an expression that people use when they're like, yeah, so then I opened up the box and I won a prize and I was like, Bob's your uncle. So it kind of means like, let me look it up for a sec. Let's get like a formal definition off of the internet. Meaning of Bob's your uncle, a phrase commonly used to mean, oh, there it is, or there you have it, or it's done. Okay, so it's kind of like, and it kind of represents like something that was simple to do, right? It's like, and then I tied one shoe and then the other, and then Bob's your uncle. I was ready to go for a walk. So that's kind of what it means. By the way, it's not used very often. I don't think I've heard anyone use the phrase Bob's your uncle. It's definitely an English phrase, but I have not heard it very often. Rosa from Brazil. Hi, Bob. Do you use grocery and supermarket in the same way? So we say grocery store or supermarket. We most often, Jen and I most often say grocery store. I'm going to go to the grocery store and get some bananas. I'm going to go to the grocery store. Supermarket is totally fine. You can say that as well. But for me, the most common way to refer to the store where I buy food is that I say grocery store. Hey, if you're one of the 532 people watching, you should click the subscribe button. I think you'll be happy if you do. you will get notified when I do a new English lesson. Next question is from Yaroslav. Hi, dear teacher Bob. Hope you are doing well. I want to ask, is slang popular in Canada? Could you provide some examples? So not off the top of my head. Slang is very popular with younger people, and you hear new words from time to time. Currently, I'm not aware of any brand new slang words. A few years ago, students were starting to say things were lit if it was exciting, but that word has actually started to fall out of favor. I haven't heard that word for a very long time. And then sometimes I hear new words. There's a few I've been hearing lately, but I don't know if they're common yet, so I don't want to mention them. Sometimes there's words that are just common in your own school or community. But I will do a lesson in the future on slang, and I will try to find like the 15 newest slang words in English. But there definitely is slang. We definitely do use slang quite a bit. Sometimes I don't even know when I'm using it. It just happens. Just the words just come out. Let's see here. Omar says, hi, Teacher Bob. What is the meaning of this sentence? So I kind of rearranged some words there, Omar. Only to name a few. So if I was to say there are many countries in Europe. There's France, there's Spain and Italy, just to name a few, or only to name a few. It basically means I don't want to list all of them because I want to talk about Europe. I did say Europe, didn't I? There's many countries in Europe, like France and Spain, to name a few, or only to name a few. So it's when you're talking about something and you don't want to list everything. You just want to kind of finish your sentence. Next question from How. Hi, Bob. Please help me explain two phrases. Make a scene and turn a blind eye. So sometimes when my one child, I won't say which one, was younger, when we went to the grocery store, sometimes my child would get very upset and they would throw things on the floor and they would make a scene. When you make a scene, it means you do things in public that people normally don't do to draw attention to yourself, okay? So if you went to the grocery store and started throwing stuff on the ground, we would say that you are making a scene. And then if I was at the grocery store and someone was stealing something and I just kind of ignored it, I would be turning a blind eye. So to turn a blind eye means you see someone do something they're not supposed to, maybe something illegal, and you ignore it. It's not good to turn a blind eye. Let's see here. So Pramod says, hello, Bob. Hope you are fine. I am. Could you explain when to use the phrases walk down the road, walk up the road, and walk along the road? So I like to walk for exercise. When I walk, sometimes I walk down the road. Sometimes I walk along the road. Those are almost interchangeable, okay? So it's nice to walk up and down the road. You see how I use both? So walk up the road means to go one way and down would be to come back, but you can use them interchangeably. It's nice to walk along the road. Let's see, when I go for a walk, I like to walk up the road. So I wouldn't use that one, okay? So let's back up. I could say I like to walk down the road when I exercise. I like to walk along the road. If you want to say you're going somewhere and coming back, you could say you walk up and down the road, okay? But if someone said, where does Joe live? I could say he lives up the road. So yeah, they're all slightly different. I hope I explained them somewhat in a logical way for you, Pramod. Let's see here. Barbara. Hi, Bob. Hope you're doing well. Could you explain why do we pronounce Tomas and not the tongue between the T sound? Oh, Thomas. Yeah, so there's different pronunciations, by the way. I've taught students named Thomas or Tomas. Yeah, it's not Thomas. Just ignore what I just said. It's Thomas. I don't know why. I don't know why we don't pronounce it as a TH, but that is challenging, isn't it? It's like, hey, when you see TH, it makes a th sound. But if it's the name Thomas, it's a T, hard T. Yeah, English is weird, Barbara. Sorry about that. I'm going to skip the next one because I don't quite understand it. So Natalia. So Natalia says, Dear Mr. Bob, would it be useful for us to learn English by looking at some religious prayers? I looked before and I couldn't understand anything. Best wishes. So here's what I would say about religious texts and religious prayers. If you are a religious person, it might be a good idea to find your religious texts in English as well as your own language, okay? So I'm not sure what religion some of you are, but if you are a religious person, and if your religion has certain texts and prayers that you use regularly in your own language, I would certainly look for those, look for the English translations of those, because the fact that you are already familiar with your religious texts will make it very easy to read and understand the English version of it, okay? So if you are a religious person, I'm not sure, Natalia, if you are. If you are a religious person, I definitely recommend that you find English versions of all of your religious books and texts. It's an awesome thing to do. Because kind of in your mind, you have a built-in dictionary translator already, right? But Natalia, if you are not a religious person, I'm not sure that would be a good strategy. Some religious texts, it's quite formal, the writing in a lot of religious texts, so it might not be the easiest thing to use. But that would be my take on that one. Tomac says, hi, Bob. Could you explain the expression going through the motions? Thanks in advance. Have a good one. So sometimes people do things and they just go through the motions. So they aren't excited about it. I know sometimes teachers who don't like teaching anymore, they just kind of go through the motions. Like they make their lessons, they teach their lessons, but they're not excited about it anymore. Sometimes a married couple will just go through the motions because they don't really love each other anymore. So instead of getting separated, they stay together and they still have supper together and they still sleep in the same bed, but they're not really, excited or passionate about being married. They're just going through the motions. So that's what that is. It's kind of a sad phrase. When someone gets to the point in life where they're just going through the motions, it means they aren't excited about something anymore. Hey, anyways, that's been an hour, folks. I'm going to wrap this up. I hope that you had a good time. I just want to say thanks to everyone who is here. Thanks to Modags and Julia Olis, Natalia Belgrade, Brent from American English with This Guy. I know Rod, the Brazilian English teacher, is here as well. I see Athenasios. I know Ario was here from Japan a while ago, maybe still is. Natalia Illusion from Russia is here. Deepak Raj, Kayla Yang, Nisa Hanna. Thanks to Todd and Dave, of course, once again. Bernadette Surveys is here. Gertrudis, too many people to mention, so I should stop. Hey, if you have time, there is a lesson out from yesterday that I did on books. And again, there will be a shorter version of this lesson out in about 24 hours, maybe a bit more. And it will have automatic English subtitles if you do need to use those to understand. But it was a fun lesson. You can find that on my channel if you want to watch it. Go have a look. Other than that, thanks for watching. Have a good Saturday. Have a good weekend. I didn't mention this before, but it's actually spring break for me. I don't have to work next week. I am very excited about that. So I can just have a relaxing weekend. I'm obviously still going to make YouTube videos, though. There will be a new one out Monday on my short English lesson channel. I'll put the link in the chat for you for a sec. Let me see here. How do I do that again? I think I do this. I type second. And there will be a new video on my main channel, which you're watching now. I'll put a link in the chat for that. But other than that, I'm going to stop talking and say bye to everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for clicking the join button and becoming members. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye.